Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show, where we help you make the wisest and most profitable decisions. My name is Dr. Gleb Tsipursky. I'm the CEO of Disaster Avoidance Experts, the future of work consultancy that sponsors the Wise Decision Maker Show. And today with me is Mark Dixon, the CEO and founder of IWG Reaches. And he emailed me to talk about an article I wrote about a reverse in the return to the office. So we saw that office occupancy went over 50% in January, and a lot of newspapers started writing that, well, the return to the office is inevitable, we'll just keep going up from here. But what I noticed is that in February, it fell below 50% office occupancy, and it stayed since that time around 48, 49%. So clearly, the return to the office dominance is premature, and realistically speaking, people can do their work effectively from many places. And there's a lot of resistance to returning to the office because mandates are not so effective. You can effectively lure people back to the office, but mandates are not very effective. And so Mark emailed me saying that, hey, he has some thoughts about that. So Mark, would you share some thoughts about the return to the office situation?
Well, I think, look, part of the problem, Dr. Gleb, is it's a problem of the narrative. People talking and reporting on a return to work as if, the US population, the worldwide population is somehow not working. And it's this sort of understanding that apparently only work can only be done effectively in downtown metro office buildings, and that's it. The situation has changed, and I think that's what your data is showing, and your comments are showing. The whole market's changed. The narrative hasn't changed, but the market's changed, and it's changed where work is, taking place for companies and corporations worldwide. It's just happening from different places. So, what we've said in many publications that we've provided data to is we've shown how much the suburbs, how much rural areas have become very popular places to work. And our growth is focused around it. We're still growing in the metros, but we're also growing and much more rapidly in the suburbs and rural areas where people actually want to live and work. So basically work has changed, work has moved. And that's the part of the narrative I think that you've spotted, but is not being picked up yet. That, to try and persuade people that there's a value in coming into, taking a long and expensive commute to do work in a different place where there's no added value. Sensible, smart workers just find this a difficult thing to do. It just makes no sense. Having said that, when we've researched our customers and also people that are not our customers, there is a very strong desire to get together with colleagues, but they just say, we don't need to do that every single day. We need to do it in groups. We need to do that. And we can see many companies doing this in a formal way where they're actually making sure that people get together in sort of the equivalent of an offsite, but they do it every 2 weeks and do business reviews. They get people talking and so on. So, look, the narrative's moved. The way companies are managing their people is moving quickly. And many companies that I talk to are saying, look, it's opened up a new world for our company, the ability to hire people from almost anywhere in the United States or worldwide. It's a huge marketplace. It was difficult for us to get people previously that happened to be able to commute into our offices wherever the offices were. It's easy now because we just say, hey, we'll provide you with an office near to where you are, but we do need you to come in once a month, once a fortnight, maybe once a week. So, it's a changing marketplace, needs a new narrative, in short.
I certainly think of the new narrative as really important. And I want to think about the narrative of flexibility versus this forceful mandates. What I helped 23 companies transition to the office by now figure out their transition from the pandemic to hybrid work arrangements. And what I inevitably find is that instead of mandating doesn't work very well because it not only harms retention and productivity, but also drives disengagement, causes quiet quitting, resentment, drops in productivity. Whereas if you invite people, if you offer them incentives to come to the office, like for example, the offsite, but even things like, let's say, something that worked well for a client of mine was having lunches sponsored by the company and having some cookie hour events sponsored by the company, where people want to come there, kind of like an anchor event where people come and they don't come and they see an empty office, which was previously a problem for a number of clients. But now they come, they know there's a social event that people will be there, they can meet up and they can plan their professional meetings and interactions around these events where they actually want to be. So having this invitation seems to really drive many people to come to the office. And we see from surveys that only a substantial minority want to work full-time remote. And even these folks would still want to come to the office occasionally, maybe once a month or something like that. So what are your thoughts about why employees are having this effort? A number of employees like Amazon, like Apple, like Starbucks are trying to force people to come to the office.
Well, I mean, look, it really depends on the company and what they're doing. I mean, it's not, hybrid working is not something for everyone. And there are industries and there are companies with departments where it makes sense to get people together. And what's interesting is companies that we have seen reporting, yeah, we're going to get everyone back to the office. In reality, when we are speaking to them, because many of these are our customers, they have a completely different policy. So yes, they want some people back in the office, but they don't want everyone back in the office. These very same companies will be closing down support centers, moving people working from home. Low paid workers are, they are the people that benefit most from not having to commute. So they basically, it's a two-track thing. It really depends on how much value add there is through having people in the office. So you just put that to one side, Dr. Gleb, for a moment. I think the most important thing, and you sort of picked up on it there with some of your suggestions for companies, but it's about there's substantial savings to be made moving to hybrid work. But you should consider as a company quite seriously reinvesting some of those savings into more training, more HR support, more event management, more curation of meetings, rather than just saying that just because everyone works in a building, somehow they are collaborating, because most of the time they're not. People collaborate with the three people that sit near them, and that's it. They sit in meetings, but they're not really involved. So companies that are really focused on how they can better manage, put more investment into new management techniques, more investment into the surroundings, providing a better quality environment that's could be more local, it could be central, providing food. We've launched a renewed food offer, which is fully healthy. It's all organic, fully healthy. For that reason, it's very much in demand from our customers. We have about 8 million users. And food's high on the list. We surveyed it about 18 months ago. So good quality food for lunch and breakfast, very important. And that sort of, when people do come into the office, they're more likely to arrive early, they're more likely to get the most out of the day. But then companies that combine that with good organization, because this is an organizational change, it's not just a hybrid work change, it's about how corporations can better manage their resources. And to get that, you've got to invest more into it. And I do, resonates with me. I in a meeting this morning with someone that says, look, I go to the office every day because I like to work for the office. By the way, I work from an office every day because I just don't like to work from home, and I'm not productive. This was a meeting I had and we were talking about this. And the lady said, look, I like to go to the office every day. I said, that's fine, but how many other people are there? You can only collaborate with people that are there. So the fact that you choose to go to an office, that's good. It must be quite convenient to you, and it is. So she's got a convenient commute, but many others may take 2 hours to get there. That's not convenient. And you'll start to lose talent if you force people to sort of waste 2 hours, 3 hours a day at their own cost. So, you know, curation of all of this, super important. Getting the most out of a workforce is about planning and organizing that well, with using new software, new techniques, and making every time people get together something of high value, not of low value, which comes back to a mandate. A mandate's low value, but having a reason and say, this is what you're going to get out of it. You come in for whatever time, you go back being wiser, you go back being better able to achieve your goals. You know, it's changing the whole balance into productivity, into creativity, into these things, not attendance at an office, which last time I looked, is very, that's not a measurement of success in any company, anywhere.
It's a measure of presence and face time, not productivity and effectiveness. Now, I want to pick up on one point that you made about investment, and something that really resonated with me because I was just doing a focus group for a client talking about why people don't want to come to the office. And one of the points that was made by a number of people was because the office was in many ways less good for them to work in than their home environment. For example, when they're taking a video conference call, that is not a very comfortable place to be in. It's a typical open office, which many corporations have. They have some cubicles, but mostly open offices. They feel like they're distracting and disturbing other people around them when they're taking a video conference call, which is, of course, a fact of modern life of taking video conference calls. And there are some huddle rooms and some video conference rooms in their office, but it's a traditional office. It wasn't changed in any way since prior to the pandemic. So there are many, many less huddle rooms and video conference and sessions, conference rooms, meeting rooms than you would need for the number of video conference meetings that are happening nowadays. So people are uncomfortable. Then another aspect of discomfort is focused work, because there are so many video conference calls happening around them, they can't get their focused work done. So some people are on a video conference call, other people are doing this is a financial company, so they're doing some financial research and analysis, and they're really distracted. So they're quite a bit less productive than they would be. And so the people who want to have hybrid meetings, when they're having them with a traditional style technology that was there in 2020, they are not very effective. I mean, the camera is set up on one end of the room is long and narrow. You're barely able to see the people at the other end of the room from a video conference camera. So you have like 3 people coming in virtually and 4 people in the room. And the people who are coming in virtually can't really see who's talking very effectively, and they can't hear them very effectively. So that is a problem. So when you're talking about investment, what are your thoughts about the kind of changes that need to be made to offices to make them a good fit for collaboration in the modern environment?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, we've got 2 things here, Dr. Gleb. You've got collaboration, and then you've got effective work when people come in. So design of office is very important. So you've got to design an office so that it's productive. So the offices you remain with, they've got to be productive. And you're quite right. There are too many distractions. Even in old-fashioned offices, there's too many distractions. When people are on old-fashioned phones, it's worse today. And this is hurting productivity. Also, the building has to be set up for collaboration. So you want people to be able to come in and work and then collaborate, come into meetings when they're needed, come into, learn, meet other people. So you need places for people to perch and sort of do productive work while they're waiting to join a meeting. Generally, offices aren't set up like this. the sort of the old way of describing it, hot desking is not very well organized. There's no proper reservation system. These are all the things that we do: reservation systems, proximity. Okay, if I'm on that meeting, I need to be at a desk not too far away. Otherwise, productivity of the whole meeting can be lost. Investment in conference rooms. There's a very good product from Cisco that allows, it's a very simple product that allows easy attachment, which is the first problem. How long does it take you to actually open your laptop and connect to a screen? This solves that problem. And then has it got a camera that allows the person speaking to be in the camera? The new Cisco piece of kit, can't remember the name of it, but it's just come out, fabulous for this. And that allows a long room to be, it's a small investment, but it will make those meetings 300% more productive. It just avoids in the beginning all the waste of time and connection. And then it allows many people from different places to collaborate. With the speakers, everything's set properly, everything's set as automatically rather than all the fumbling around, which we've all experienced. We're installing that. We're putting in about 10,000 of them at the moment because it was the number one thing demanded. So I think, again, it's, reduce your space, but invest in the space you keep, make it more productive. Make sure the technology works, and make sure you're thinking about how people will use it. It's not just about rows of desks or cubicles or offices. It's about how people work together. And then you add, as we spoke about a few moments ago, you add good amenity and above all else, very good organization. You have to rethink how you're managing people. And you've got to say, well, I just have to think differently. But many companies are already managing sales forces on the road, lots of people that are not in the offices. It's a normal thing. But now they've just got to think about the people that were in the offices and say, well, why is it that they need to be there? And why is it that I'm having a problem managing? It's just because people haven't focused yet. But they will. The savings are 50%. On just cost, but the real savings are all around productivity, as you've described, and stopping staff turnover. If you ask people to waste, 2-3 hours a day at their own cost, coming into an inconvenient office, eventually those people will say, sorry, that's not for me.
Yeah. That's a really good point. And as we're wrapping up, can you describe the ways that IWG Regis actually supports your customers? What do you described some throughout the interview, but as we finish up, a little bit more of what you exactly do.
We provide a hybrid working platform. So, if you take the United States, we have 1,250 buildings, all states, and it's a network of buildings that are all linked together. So a workforce can just get a subscription basically and just use any location in the country. And companies are buying this in quantity now and saying, look, I'm going to reduce my space. I then give people the choice. They can work from home. They can work from one of the IWG offices, a Regis office, or they can come into the head office. We have scheduling and management that allows that all to occur. We have real-time billing and dashboards allow you to manage the workforce. And then we provide amenities to support the workers wherever they are, so they can get the same things they would get in the corporate office, they can get anywhere in the country. Food, we do health checks, we do a whole range of things that we get in large corporate offices, but we do it for everyone. We make that easy. We provide hub offices as well. When, for example, a company says, I have 50, 100 people in Cincinnati, then they would take a hub in Cincinnati and have their own sort of co-work area where people drop in. And we also do a lot of social events. We do a lot of educational events with speakers and so on. So again, that's a reason for people to come in. And it's a reason for people to attach to their job and to a company, because they're not left at home. They feel they're part of something. Now, that something is sometimes the corporate office, and it's sometimes they come into our offices and attend events and network with other people. That's, again, our surveys show that this is what they like doing. It's not always interacting with colleagues, it's interacting with people from a wider field. So there's a whole lot of things that we sort of reproduce the corporate office everywhere and make it easy to use. And you can use it for an hour, a day. It's all on-demand stuff that you just use whenever you need to.
Excellent. Well, that's been very helpful, Mark. Thank you for sharing about what you do and your expertise.
Great pleasure. Thanks very much, Dr. Gleb. Thank you.
And thank you to the audience for checking out another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you check this out and leave a review. It helps others discover the show, and it helps us improve the show. All right, everyone. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. In the meantime, the wisest and most profitable decisions to you, my friends.